We usually get into all the high-level stuff here.
Right.
Complex ideas, idioms, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at this material from HK English, I'm kind of realizing we might be skipping the most important step.
Right.
Fluency isn't really about debating philosophy.
Mm.
It's about the boring stuff, the
Yeah.
coffee, the commute.
It is. It really is. We often ignore the mundane, but that's exactly where language actually lives.
Okay, so what are we diving into today?
We're looking at a breakdown of a daily routine.
Hmm.
But the goal here isn't just to, learn the word for toothbrush.
Mm-hmm.
It's to understand the strategy behind narrating your own life.
Right, because if you can't describe what you're doing for the first hour of your day, you probably can't describe much else.
Exactly.
So let's start at the beginning, the wake up. The source makes a pretty sharp distinction between 6:30 and 7 a.m.
They do. They bring up this whole early bird idea, which is culturally interesting.
Yeah.
But linguistically, the real gold is in the phrasal verb. The source separates wake up from get out of bed.
But, is there really a functional difference there? You're awake, you're up, same thing? No.
Oh, a huge difference. In English, the movement is all in the preposition. You don't exit the bed.
Right.
You get out of it. That physical action, feet hitting the floor, is a very specific linguistic moment.
So if you miss those little prepositions, you just sound like a textbook.
You sound like a textbook, not a person. That's
Mhm.
it. It's the difference between stating a fact and describing an action.
Okay, that makes sense. Then we move to the bathroom. Brush teeth, wash face. That seems pretty standard.
It is, but look at the verbs again. These are collocations, words that they naturally stick together.
You don't clean your teeth.
Exactly, you brush them. It's about building muscle memory. The source is subtly teaching habit stacking. You anchor the English phrase to the physical habit you already have.
So the bathroom mirror becomes like a cue card?
A cue card, exactly. Then we hit the kitchen. Make breakfast.
Not do breakfast.
Right. In some languages, you might do a meal. But in English, it's an act of creation.
So whether it's the coffee and toast or the tea and cereal in the text,
It doesn't matter. The verb is make. It
Yeah.
implies a process.
then comes that gear shift. Get dressed.
Mhm.
Again, it's simple, but the source really leans into put on.
Mhm.
Put on clothes, put on shoes, put on a coat.
And that's the phrasal verb thing again. I mean, you could say don your coat if you were in a Victorian novel, but
But in real life, you just put it on.
you put it on. The source is showing that real fluency is about mastering these small directional verbs.
And then you cross the threshold. You leave the house and go to work.
Right. And the text lists that office routine. Sit at desk, work on computer, answer emails.
It feels very mechanical.
It is. It's static.
Yeah.
Sit, type, answer. But that contrast is so important because of what happens next.
Okay.
The source highlights the phrase go home. You can almost feel the exhale.
The energy just drops.
Precisely. The verbs switch. They go from these active tasks to more passive states. Relax on the sofa, watch TV.
Even the cooking feels softer. Making pasta or soup is different from answering emails.
It's a completely different feeling. And then finally, go to bed.
But let's pivot to the how. The source isn't just giving us a list of words. It's suggesting a method.
This is the core insight, the real wisdom of practice.
A narration part.
Yeah. The suggestion is to narrate your actions as they happen. I'm making coffee. I am putting on my shoes.
It sounds a bit crazy, though, like talking to yourself in the kitchen.
It does, yeah. But it forces your brain to bridge that gap between a thought and the language for it instantly.
So you're not translating.
You're defining your reality in English. And the source emphasizes a certain mindset here. Patience.
Celebrate your progress. I saw that.
Right. You don't panic if you forget the word for, shoelace. Just noticing you don't know the word.
Mm.
That's part of the process. It's a calm, steady accumulation of these small wins.
So the takeaway isn't just a vocabulary list. It's about using your daily routine as a live script.
Your life is the best textbook you have. It really is.
Okay, so here's a thought for you listening. Tomorrow morning, try it. Just narrate one single sequence, making your coffee, walking to the bus, whatever. And if you get stuck on a word, don't look it up right away. Just sit with that silence for a second.
Because that gap, that's where the learning happens.
Thanks for listening. Keep it simple, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.